whenever you log into Canvas, you're going to do it in a couple ways. One is either online, or probably the more common way is going to be through your Canvas app, and we'll talk about that. I'll show you that on an iPad tomorrow or the next day, so you can kind of get a feel for what it is. I know you guys haven't got your iPads yet. Usually you would have those by now, but just because the campus isn't open, that'll be delayed a little bit. And we'll talk about that when we get to that. But today I'm just going to show you the online version of Canvas. So when you log into Canvas, you should see the Mater Dei logo up here in the upper left. It's very easy to go to the wrong Canvas page because it's like, oh, I can't get into Canvas. So the first thing you might do is type in Canvas login. I'm going to go search for Canvas login page. Well, a lot of different people use Canvas, like this login right here. This is actually for Canvas, the website, or it's like, oh, here's one. This is Santa Ana Colleges. So there's a bunch of different ones, and sometimes they're not labeled like this one. It's like, it just says Canvas. This looks like it's for Rancho Santiago Community College District. So, or this one, Saddleback. I mean, they don't always have IVC, or they don't always have logos. So make sure that you see the Mater Dei logo. Otherwise, you'll be trying to log into a different institution, and then when you enter your email and password, it will not work. I mean, I've had seniors that have done this for 4 years taking testing. I can't get into the test, like all freaking out, and look at their Canvas screen. I'm like, why are you trying to log into Irvine Unified? It's just, you know, it's very easy to get the wrong system because so many people use Canvas. So make sure you see the Mater Dei logo. Enter your email up here, and then you should have this information. It was sent to your parents. Not all of you might, but if you don't have it yet, don't worry about it. Sometimes it takes a couple of days. You enter your email and your default password, and you're going to log in. And when you log in, it'll take you to a main page with a dashboard with all this stuff. Now, there's a bunch of classes and everything on here. These are all the ones I'm teaching over the summer. Yes, I'm quite busy, but a lot of these only have one student in it because they're credit recovery. So anyway, you can have all this up here. At first, it might be blank. So if it's blank, over here on the left, you would have a little button called Courses, and here's all the courses. This is HSP Science. So that's an easy thing to find. So I'm going to click on it, and this is what the course will look like. Now, it's going to look a little different from me. I am going to go into student view here. And so this is kind of what it'll look like for you. Because over here, I'll have a bunch of stuff. Because I'm a teacher, I'll have a bunch more buttons. So this is what you'll see. Now, every day for the class, I'll be making announcements. It will have the 3 newest ones at the top. But if you ever want to make sure you see the announcements, there's a little link for it. So on the left on Canvas here, here's your courses. This is home, modules, announcements, grades, people, Zoom, and chat. This will expand as we're going to use a few different chat programs. Today's a Zoom meeting. A couple times we'll be using Canvas Conferences, which is a built-in tool. We'll be using Microsoft Teams because a lot of different teachers use different conferencing. We'll probably honestly settle on one as teachers, but for now I just want to make sure you're exposed to everything. And this will be your main navigation menu. On the left, you won't have this pink bar. It says resetting the test student. This is just my test student bar, so just kind of ignore that. And so when you go home, this is what you'll see. Now, this is almost the same as the module view. The only difference is that announcement's at the top. So this is our module view. Modules are kind of like folders. If you haven't used Canvas, it's just like a folder set up in Google Classroom or Blackboard or any of those systems that people use, different schools use. I know there's a really wide variety of them out there. And this is what we'll be doing over the whole class. So you see, we'll do a short unit on iPad Basics, Canvas. We'll talk about ZuluDesk, which is our app store. Mater Dei doesn't use the app store on the iPads. So you can't install just anything on your iPad. You have to go through ZuluDesk. What that allows us to do is to match versions of iOS to versions of apps. So let's say some of you have updated your iPads and some of you haven't. If you were to install an app, it might be compatible with one version and not the other. So this just kind of ensures us that everything will work. And ZuluDesk also tells us, hey, this student hasn't updated. It would allow me to see, hey, are they on campus or not? It allows us to do a lot of things to help, kind of contact you and things like that. So it's a little management tool. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about all the apps we use at Mater Dei, at least the significant ones that most teachers use. Then we'll do a short unit on metric conversions, significant figures, scientific method, and how we do data and reporting. Now, this is all science, but in there, we'll be doing things like, how do we do group assignments? What is an infographic? How do we make it? We'll be recording videos. We'll be using different tools like Flipgrid, and we'll be using Notability and all these apps to do all these things. We'll be using something called ClassKick. So we'll be using a lot of different apps and things like that as we go through it. So even though it's a science course, each one of these, we're going to be using a tool that we use at Mater Dei to help you learn them. So that's your kind of base home view. Home will have the modules, and sometimes some teachers will have home pages here, or to have like a picture. Let me show you one for like one of my other courses. Let's see here. Here we go. Honors Marine Biology. So this will be my homepage. I will have links and things like that down here. It has information. So some teachers will have this, other ones won't. So for this course, I'm not going to have a homepage like that. There's really no use. It's really short. And we found that a lot of students will go to that page anyway. So anyway, this is the core view you'll be using. So let me go back to student view. And as we go through assignments, you'll see due dates on here and all that kind of good stuff. So that's what's going to be going on. So down here, you'll see announcements. Every day we'll have an announcement. So what I'll do is for the announcements is I'll look, you'll see a whole list of these as we get going. They'll be sorted by date. If you click on it, it will always have like Zoom meeting info or whatever we're doing that day. It's kind of like an agenda of what we'll be doing. So keep your eye out for those. You should check those every day, every morning. Check the agendas. Now, when I release these, I usually release them at a future date, and what that will do is once everything's working correctly, it will send you an email saying, hey, you have an announcement for science readiness. So it should notify you whenever I post one. And I'll also talk about that in future. How do we get Canvas to notify us of things? When you do assignments, this is where your grades go. Grades are a really small part of this course. It's a readiness course, so the grades really honestly don't mean much. But just so you learn how to grade tools work and things like that. The official grade tool of Mater Dei is Aries. So you might not even see a total calculation here. See how it says calculations has been disabled. That's just so you don't get confused. Sometimes Aries and Canvas will have slightly different numbers because of how it rounds and stuff like that. But you're always going to use Aries for your grades and things like that at Mater Dei. So when we do grades, we can grade them, push a button, it sends them from Canvas over to Aries. So those are the grades. For people, this is everybody in the class. So you will see here, you'll see block 3 and block 4. I don't know if you can, but I can. You might only see block 4 people in your group. And when we do group work, this is where you do it. You'll see a list of groups here, and you can join groups with fellow students. You will have everybody's email. Like, let's say you want to email somebody on here. Like, Gary, you want to email me, you just click on my name and it will come up, and you will have a place. I guess you could report my pictures inappropriate. You will have a way to email people in your class. So that's kind of what that's for. And again, we'll go over all this in detail, but I just want to kind of take you through so you can start exploring. When we do Zoom meetings, see on the left-hand side here, it says Zoom. This would be a list of all the upcoming Zoom meetings and stuff like that. So that's where you can find those. And a really cool tool in Canvas is the chat tool. So here's the chat tool. If you click on chat, see it says test student says hello. One person online, it's probably me, test student. Yep. So if you go to the chat window, you can type in anything you want and it timestamps it. So if I type hello again, see I did one for my class this morning at 10:40. Now it's at 12:24. So you keep a running view. So if you ever have a question or something, you can always ask it in the chat window, like, hey, with this assignment, you know, what are we going to be doing? Anybody know how to do this? I'm kind of lost. You could type this in here to contact me and say, hey, Mr. Orland, I don't understand this. You can always answer your friends or fellow peers questions. If you know how to do it, say, hey, I know how to do this. I couldn't log into this, so I tried this. And it just keeps a running chat of everything in class. So now you can see that 2 people are online, Dakota's in here. So it's pretty neat how it works. It just gives like a running kind of total of everything that's said in the class. So kind of cool. But anyway, really, home and modules are the one you're going to use the most. A couple other things with Canvas that you'll be using. I'll talk more about the calendar in depth, but the calendar is kind of cool. We'll have, you can add events in here. When you have things due, it's going to show up in here. When you turn them in, it will cross them out for you and things like that. So I can't go to my dashboard, so let me get off this and leave some of you. So like over here, I have a to-do list. Like I have a bunch of grade, things like that. Somebody's already turning things in for one of my classes. Grade, picture, activity, blah, 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 will tell me what to do. You will have this as well. For instance, by tomorrow, I have to turn in my course syllabus to summer school office. So it says turn in, submit course syllabi 2020. Right here, it has a spot for me to turn it in. So you will have to-do lists, you have calendars, you're gonna have all kinds of stuff to keep you prepared, keep you organized. So anyway, that is how things will go. Now, the only other thing I want to mention right now about Canvas, and again, we'll go into this in a little more detail, is when you log in, if you click on your account up here, it has something called notifications. So if you're getting a boatload of emails from Canvas right now, and like, it's like, God, every time my teacher does something, I'm getting an email. If it's overloading, click on this, click on your account, go to notifications, and you can uncheck these over here. So if you have a check mark, it means, okay, notify me right away. The little clock is a daily summary. The calendar is a weekly summary. And the X is, hey, don't send me anything. So for example, this is a little different because it's for a teacher, but if I got a notification every time I made a due date, I literally would get like 5,000 emails a day, right? So I have all this stuff off. I don't want to know when I create my own announcement and things like that. But let's say I'm in a class like my science department. We have a group, a class in Canvas, and I want to know when the department chair or somebody like a assistant principal announces something. So I have that checked right away saying, hey, there's a check mark here. So right away it will tell me. Let's say one of you guys turn in an assignment and it's late. Like, so this happens quite a bit, especially with my students their senior year, things get late, senioritis, whatever. A lot of them are turning in late assignments. So whenever I get a late assignment, I have it tell me at the end of the day, hey, a bunch of these students turned things in late, go back and check them. So it's useful. So let's say you want to know what's due. So due date right here. If a due date is changed, you either want to know right away, you want to know at the end of the day, you want to know once a week, whatever. So anyway, you can adjust these. So if you notice that it's like your teacher updated course content, your teacher updated course content, that's right here. And turn that off and you won't get any emails. So again, I'll go through all these in detail, but just so you know right now, sometimes when Canvas fires up on your guys' computers and you start getting emails, it's just overwhelming. So, and we'll talk a little more about it. So anyway, that is Canvas. Now you can always email me through whatever, Outlook, your iPads and things like that. Canvas does have a cool email tool for inbox. So it's right here. Let's say you want to send an email. You'll just hit right here. Up here, you can select your course, favorite course. That's this one, right? And then you can put to teachers. There I am. Or let's say, you know, mine will look a little different than yours, but I want to send to all my students. So I can go to students, go all in students, and it will send emails to every single section. So it's a great way to get a hold of me. I actually prefer this way. So what will happen if you send me something in Canvas, or I send you something in Canvas or whatever, you will also get it using Microsoft Outlook or the iPad email, whatever. You don't have to open up Canvas to reply. You can reply in any email program and it will automatically send it to me and send a copy to Canvas. So you'll be able to access it in both places. So it's a really cool tool. So anyway, that's just kind of, you know, the basics of Canvas, so you can start playing around with it. You kind of get used to it. So really the keys are always look for an agenda every day. It will give you links to Zoom meetings. Notice that there's a couple different passwords. So if I click on this, And I messed up and I put the wrong block in there last night. So I was trying to do too many things at once, but this is generally what it will look like. It'll say science readiness block 4. You guys are in block 4, so you look for this. You say join Zoom meeting and it will give you the link and the password. If you can, get to a computer and you want to join by phone, it says or dial location by phone. Here's the meeting ID and the password right here. If you want to find your local phone number, just click on this link right here, paste it in, and it will take you to a list of phone numbers for our area, like Los Angeles, Orange County, stuff like that. So I know there's multiple passwords. Just make sure you know that the Zoom meetings, it's always going to be Wenlin. It's always going to be the same. It's always going to be text. So, and then we'll just have the information of what we're doing with that day. So otherwise, that's all I really wanted to do today, is to kind of get you guys acclimated. I know you don't all have Zoom access right now. I'm sorry, Canvas access right now, but you should see it throughout the day. And once you start getting it, just kind of log in, look around. I know some of you have other classes that you're doing this for, so you'll get it even quicker. I know some of you have siblings that are in modern day that can totally help you out. And even though I'm showing you this, they're going to be like, don't do that, use the app. So we'll talk about the things like the app and, you know, what's easier for what and what can be used for what. But I just want to make sure I hit everything with you guys.